inverses. All right, yesterday we did identities and then we did inverses. All right, so we needed to know what both of those are so that we can solve the system of equations with it. Personally, if you load the stuff into the calculator and stuff, depending on what this is more of a formal math sense. This works with my brain. Okay, this is one of my more favorite ways to do it. But again, it all depends on your brain, and it's just another method. Yeah.
Can you go over how to do what we did yesterday a little bit?
That's what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. All right, so, all right, the first step is we're going to write it into 3 different matrices, okay? So your A is going to be your coefficients. So I'm going to have 1, 1, 0, -1, 3, and 4, and then 0, 4, and 3. Okay, is everybody with me on that part?
Yes.
Okay, now you're going to make another matrices. We're going to call it X, and it's of our variables. So we have X, Y, and Z. Okay, then the next matrix we're going to do is going to be our constants, which are kind of like our K column, and that's going to be our 3, -3, and 2. Okay, good? All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we need to find the inverse of A. How did we find the inverse of A? Beautiful. Use your identity. So you multiply with the identity. So, oops, I can't spell today. Identity. All right, so I have a 3 by 3. So that means I'm going to multiply A times my identity of 3. Right? You with me on that one? Okay, so my A is 1, -1, 0, 1, 3, 4, 0, 4, 3. Whoops. It's just a straight line. And then my identity is going to be 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and 0, 0, 1. Everybody good on that part? Kim, are you good on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Because my identity, when we were talking about yesterday, that identity is always like your reduced row. And so if it's a identity of 2, the ones is a 2 by 2 and the ones are your main diagonal. If it's a 3 by 3, you have the ones in the main diagonal and then everything else are zeros. Okay? All right, so now, how did you find the inverse? Once we had this set up, what did we do? We don't multiply it because this really should just be a straight line. We didn't add. There's something in here. We do the RREF. Okay, so I'm going to hit matrix. And I want my RREF. And I have a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So I have a 3 by 6. And so now I have to enter everything in. 1, 0, 0. And my batteries just died. So, Gracie, can I borrow your calculator? Or, thank you. Oh, except for you forgot your R. Yeah, but that's all right. I can get it in there. B. Oh, wrong. So, okay, so 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, negative 1, 3, 4, 0, 1, 0, 0, 4, 3, 0, 0, 1. Okay? Now, when I hit enter, this is what I get. Now, first thing I want to do is I'm going to change that to fractions. Okay? Now, when you're looking at it, what do you notice? Now, they've kind of flipped around. I'm now in reduced row echelon, and this part is now my inverse. So my inverse, or my A negative 1, is 7/4, 3/4, negative 1, negative 3/4, negative 3/4, 1, and then 1, 1, negative 1. Okay. Everybody with me? Yes. Good so far?
Yeah.
All right, now, the next step is to form the equation of AX equals B. So basically, I'm going to have all my matrices in an equation form. XYZ is equal to okay. Good so far? Okay. Now, we multiply each side by the inverse. All right, so that means I'm going to multiply this side by my 7/4, negative 3/4, 1, 1, negative 1, 1, and negative 1. And since now it's an equation, what you do to one side, you got to do to another. So 7/4, negative 3/4, 1, 3/4, negative 3/4, 1. Okay, everybody with me?
Yep.
Okay, now let's think about what's going to happen on this side over here. What happens, because remember when we were talking yesterday, we were saying how the inverse is like a reciprocal. Okay? What happens when you multiply a number by its reciprocal? What do you get? You get a 1. That's beautiful. That's kind of what we want. So when I multiply this side, let's see, I have a 3 by 3. So I have 7/4, 3/4, negative 1. I'm sorry? To reduce, what do you mean?
I've actually done that before.
We're just multiplying these two together. I'm just multiplying them. 4, 3 divided by 4, 1, 1, 1, negative 1. Okay, because on this side, I'm multiplying each side. So now I'm just going to multiply by that inverse. This is like my inverse times my A. Okay, so now I need another 3 by 3 for this part. So 1, 1, 0, negative 1, 3, 4, 0, 4, 3. All right, so we said, since it's like a reciprocal, when we multiply the two together, we expect to get 1. Like if I have 2, my reciprocal is 1/2. 2 times 1/2 is going to give me 1. So if I multiply matrices 1 by the inverse, I'm going to get all 1s. Okay, that's why we like the inverses. So, okay, now I need to multiply the second side. So I have, whoops, that's not what I wanted. So I have my 3 by 3 again. So 7/4, 3/4, -1, -3/4, -3/4, and 1, 1, 1, and -1. And this time I'm timesing it by like that K column. So this time I only have not that. Get back over in the right space. Alpha zoom. This time I have 3 rows but 1 column. So 3, -3, and 2. And when I multiply the 2, this time I get, okay, 1, 2, -2. So now when I look at my equation, I can say, hey, 1x equals 1. So x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2, and z is equal to -2. So my ordered pair is 1, 2, -2. Okay. Now, if you do the inverse correctly, you don't even need, as long as you know that the whole purpose of doing the inverse is that you're going to get these ones, you don't technically have to multiply it out. I sometimes do if I don't trust my computer or calculator input skills, just to make sure I really did get the right inverse. But otherwise, you could just technically do the 2 sides. And that's the purpose. This is the more formal math version. When you get up into the higher math classes in college and stuff, the matrices are in this format. This is a more formal where the X, Y, and Z. I personally kind of like them that way, just because I know exactly what variable is what. Okay, good. All right, so next question. Last class asked me to do one other example. Do you feel comfortable with these? Do you want me to do one more? Do one? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. If you feel comfortable, go get on Math Excel and start working on it. If you want to see one more example with me, kind of keep an eye up here. How's that sound? All right. Now, I will say, step 1 and step 3, I do at the same time. When I was writing out the notes, I kind of give it to you step by step, but I do these 2 things at the same time. So, my A, I have A, X is equal to B. So, A is going to be 3, -1, and -2, 1. My X is going to be X and Y, and my B is going to be 8 and 4. Do you agree with me on that one? Does that make sense? You can kind of combine the steps into the 2, and that's okay. All right, my inverse. One's on Friday, one's on Sunday. Okay, so my inverse is going to be my reduced row. And now I have a 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 3, -1, 1, 0, -2101. And so my inverse is 1123. Are you with me? You're not getting what? Is that what you inputted into your calculator?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Never mind. I see that.
Okay. Okay, good. All right, so if I do to both sides, the end result here is going to be 1100 and xy. And now I just need to multiply. So I have a 2 by 1, which is 8 and 4, times a 2, whoops, go back, times a 2 by 2, which is 1, 1, 2, 3. Oh. Why is it not hitting?
Not even close. We never made it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it should get 12 and 28. Did something wrong. And so that makes x 12 and y 28. So that's my point of intersection. Better?